welcome, all you beautiful entities out there to the Humidist podcast. We are back. It is me, Hammer, your loyal host, and with me today, I have the ever loyal sidekick. It is,
Well, it's me, Steph, the Opie lover. How are you doing?
and also the mysterious, the spooky, the almost never heard of.
Dank N.
Yes, that it is.
Good morning.
It is. Good morning,
It is a
friends,
beautiful morning
family.
at 3:46 p.m.
It's almost getting dark outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the window of daylight is what 5 hours or something now in
Yeah.
Norway.
That's definitely the shitty part of living in Norway. It's like from now and until a while into spring. It's just like dark when you get up and dark when you come home from work.
Yeah, it's the grind. It's the grind. So, what have you been up to lately, boys? You have any interesting news for me, for our listeners?
Well, for my sake, I recently
Yeah.
finished Mafia Definitive Edition,
Hmm.
and that's definitely a game that for for all the jank and the stupidity of the old game, I feel like they just ditched that for the most part and took the best parts of it, which was the story and the characters, and fleshed it out, put it in a better way. In Definitive Edition, they definitely did the old game justice. So
Good.
it's a short experience too, but I'd
Oh,
say it's relatively. But if you're in it for like a short and sweet, relatively short and sweet, but solid story experience, then I really recommend Mafia Definitive Edition. So yeah.
it's not shorter than it's the same as the original.
It's a bit hard to
Everywhere.
say. I mean, like if now you have the option to skip the drives between objectives and stuff.
Oh,
So in the old one, you had to do a lot of just filler driving, in
right.
which a lot of things could go wrong due to the jank. Uh,
Oh,
but
yeah.
in the new one, that can sort of almost also happen. But then now you can just like press a button to just skip the drive, and since I did that quite a bit, then of course, it felt like very much mission, and there's very little side activities to do.
Yeah.
So, but it's a very
Did it
focused
hurt it?
experience.
Yeah, right. So it's like, did it hurt the overall feel? Do you feel, or was it like the old days?
Considering I recently went through the old game, just the entirety to try and record a video, which
Yeah.
unfortunately the most of the footage got corrupted. But um, since I had that, I felt like, all right, for me it's okay to just like see what they did with the story and just like I did some of the drives to experience the new city because it looks quite nice and the
Hmm.
music is nice and everything. But I also skipped maybe half of them. But for me, it didn't ruin anything. I felt this was definitely a great update.
Yeah, yeah. And Dank N, what have you been playing lately?
I've been playing some Dragon Age, actually,
Yeah.
Inquisition.
Oh,
I got it for 29 kroner on the
oh
PS
yeah,
Store.
oh yeah.
What a steal!
So
That's a steal.
I've been having a good time with that, and also been playing some Doom Eternal.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Pretty
also
fun.
quite. That's a sadistic experience too.
Yeah, really cool experience. I never actually played any Doom game before.
Oh really?
mm. So this
But
is
I
your
mean,
first.
I've like the old ones, but didn't play the last entry.
The one
Yeah.
in 2016.
All right. Well,
What
if
about
you
you?
wonder, yeah, I've been playing Command and Conquer General
Mm.
0 hour,
Oh yeah.
uh, which is one of my favorite RTS games. Just revisiting that old gem. Kind of being sad over the fact that it's not gonna be iterated upon. Even I don't know. It was like an effort that was canceled because it was too it was too online-y, too money focused. Let's just say.
But do you think that there's a chance it might, come back in a different iteration later? Because I mean, they recently redid some other games in the series as well, right?
Yeah, I think that right, like a HD type remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's possible, but I don't know since this is fully 3D modeled. I don't know how easy it is. Like with the 2D games, it's like a sprite up, kind of deal. But with this, it's a little bit more. I think it's more work to do it, but still, I would love to see that. But I think that RTSs must, come back in vogue for it to be viable as a, because single player RTS experiences, that's just not selling.
I guess
these days.
not.
Yeah.
I mean, how's Age of Empires doing though? They recently came out with some updated editions too, right?
You're talking about the HD remasters, or?
Yeah, and then there was a new one with Age of Empires 3 as well, but I haven't really followed how well it did.
Yeah, the definitive edition.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. I didn't even follow it.
I've been watching a couple of bodies playing it. It seems okay, I guess. I think they added a couple of new playable factions or countries or whatever.
That's cool.
But Age of Empires 3, was it? I don't think that was too good, was it? Like originally,
It doesn't have wall of law, so
yeah, that's pretty important.
Yeah,
that is very important.
That defined the whole Age of Empires experience, according to our good friend Notorious M.
Yeah, Notorious M. Yeah, that's very important. But I've been playing some generals. Doing for those of you who played generals, the challenges on hard, which is something I love to do, which is it's very Westwood style, cheesy. So just love it. But sad to see that it's not gonna get another iteration, at least for now.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope. I mean, if the new Age of Empires definitive editions are doing well, then maybe sometime within the next 10 years.
And I mean, it's I think the generals was a little bit unique because it's focused on being just a little bit, like a hyper modern but pseudo realistic style, which RTS almost never do. They always go for like the hyper modern, futuristic, or like fantasy, or a history focused type of look. But
Like,
the near to modern style is very, or maybe like World War II, a theme like that, but almost never the very close to modern age theme. So I think that was also very unique with this one.
That's true. I mean, recently, if you look at games like Total War Warhammer, and stuff like that, really allows.
But that's a really cool game. I love that game.
Of course.
But yeah, that's you got to have a little bit more of a sell with the theme, I think, because general seems so close to us. It's almost like you feel that it's trying to simulate reality, even though it's it is very over the top when you play it with a lot of creative variants. But still, they kind of based it on up and coming military technologies of the time that were expected to be coming in the near future, like lasers and stuff like that. So but yeah, that's what I've been doing.
If we got to do a little bit of a segue from that, which is kind of related to new iterations of old series, I don't know if you guys saw the rumor that Star Wars Force Unleashed 3 is rumored to be in development.
Yeah, I saw that, and that is very good news.
I hope it's true.
Yeah.
I did love me some good old Force Unleashed, but you know that is like almost like Space Marine for me. It is a series with a lot of potential, untapped potential. I would say the first game was good. Second was just okay, I guess.
I thought the gameplay, the story, maybe not so much, but the gameplay, I still had a lot of fun with Force Unleashed too.
Yeah, yeah. For me, the second iteration was just it was a little light. I didn't feel
Yeah.
I felt that the enemies were fodder. Um, I like to feel the power increase of the character be meaningful and substantial, and that
Yeah.
the enemies are not pushovers. You have to earn killing them very easily.
Yeah.
So that was kind of yeah.
But the
But
first
still,
game had a lot of fun with, especially the DLC, where you got to go through and like have this non-canonical version where you killed all the characters of the original trilogy and all that.
yeah, that was that was really nice. And yeah, I love how hard they work to make it seem like full on canon with voice acting and stuff like that. Also, especially some Palpatine scenes in that one.
Yeah.
Like, and then, like Vader, you will be cast aside. That's so fucking evil. That's so
Oh.
deliciously evil.
But
Oh my god, yeah.
can I throw like a dream pitch for a game that just struck my mind?
Mhm.
Imagine if Force Unleashed 3 wasn't actually about Starkiller. Imagine if it was about Palpatine training under
Ooh.
Plagueis from Discovery through the training through all the way up to, or like at least to some extent up to Episode 1.
That's intriguing. And what about you could still like push it into the prequel era, I think,
True.
with like some small, almost a little bit of like stealth game, trying to assassinate opponents and doing, all this kinds of subterfuge in the Senate and stuff like that.
The Senate.
That would be cool. Yeah, Senate.
The whole game is just called The Force Unleashed 3: The Senate.
Yeah, it would be like a more stealthy type of game
Yeah, I think it
where
would
you
be
try
pretty
to.
cool.
That could be really cool. Yeah.
Like young Palpatine, especially because the whole Plagueis book, in my opinion, is very good, and I think that like the story lends itself very easily to that kind of a narrative. For example, in a game or in a TV series or series of movies. I mean, like I think it's a story that deserves to be readapted or like be translated to a different media and made canon.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, with that said, maybe we should go on to the next segment with Spooktober.
Yeah.
I thought that, yeah. Nick, do you have something for us here?
Yeah, I can start it off. Tell you guys a little story about an old game called Eternal Darkness, Sanity's
Yes.
Requiem.
That game.
It's an old GameCube exclusive from 2002. In short, it's kind of a third-person. It reminds you of Resident Evil game. You play as a young woman who's inherited some kind of mansion, and shit starts going down. Like the premise of the game is that you go through like different like ages, playing as like historical characters, and everyone kind of experiencing the same thing with this kind of these ancients, or kind of like Lovecraftian cosmic horror
like
thing.
Right.
It's like
Right.
like giant, like fleshy areas with like
bulbous.
bones and bulbous stuff, and yeah. But anyway, as I was I guess I was 10 when I played this. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a good age. That's a good
Yeah.
age for her.
So anyway, there's a scene in the present time, like in the mansion, where you walk into the bathroom,
Mm.
and you can walk over to the bathtub, and there's not a prompt, I think. So you just have to press it, or you just have to walk up to it. Then it kind of plays off this like shrieking sound, and it zooms in on the bathtub, and they're suddenly filled of blood, and there's like a naked dead woman inside.
Ooh.
And that fucking, yeah, that ruined me and my friend who played this. Yeah. I remember we were like shaking. You were not
Oh yeah.
prepared for this, right? Because the rest of the game is not like super scary. Then you just get that shit thrown in your face. Oh my God.
And I mean, for that game, I remember you showed it to me as well.
Mm,
When we were like in middle school,
yeah.
and I also remember like it had these that it played tricks on you, that it made it look like the sound on the television was going down, where they actually
Mm.
added that like volume, that old school volume thing going down, and you turn on, you just instinctively put the volume up, but then the game actually tricks you, so suddenly now you have like 99 volume on your TV.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
really cool, and I believe, maybe speaking out of my ass here, but the first, if not one of the first games to use the sanity effect, like
Hmm.
losing sanity. Your screen
yeah.
would get all fucked up, and there would be like scarabs or, yeah, insects.
Could you die from that effect, or
I don't
was it just
remember.
like no?
What a game, though. I mean, I hope they remake that game, or like let's say they actually make a game similar to that, where they also really play with the sanity thing and really play tricks on you, breaking the fourth wall and stuff.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
think that
I
would
mean,
be
that's really cool when games do that. Kind of try to manipulate you in the real world, quote unquote.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have a little list here. Like minor effects of the sanity loss would include like skewed camera angle, heads of statues following the character, unsettling noises, and stronger effects would include bleeding on walls and ceilings, entering a room that is unrealistic before finding that the character never left the previous room, and like
ooh.
suddenly dying. And fourth wall breaking effects such as to be continued promotions for a sequel, and I don't. Yeah, anomalies of the TV or GameCube. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Mm. I mean, that's pretty cool.
right.
Yeah, like these things though, they're being really creative. I love that.
Hmm.
Yeah. It looks to be very creative. But there's no. Yeah, it has the scores in this game are through the roof.
Yeah, I saw.
Um,
I was not
keep
a
going.
critical consumer at that time, so I couldn't really to tell you guys how good it is. But
There's been some rumors of it coming to the Switch.
mm,
Oh, really?
Yeah, because just some trademarks, kind of signaling that it might come. But
I think it would be a cool like handheld game, a kind of a
Yeah,
travel game type.
and you can sit there and piss your pants on the airplane.
Yeah,
yeah, very very practical.
Mm. I know I'm gonna make good use of that, and then everybody is gonna think it's a bomb threat, and then I have to be escorted off the plane
yeah.
midair,
But
mind you.
and also before we move on from that, I have kind of a spooky honorable mention for all you
Ooh.
old timers out there, which is the fucking piano from Mario 64.
Yeah, that is.
That is pure horror.
Oh my god, the feeling. Even as as a kid, you knew that it was there when you were playing through the
Yeah.
level times.
Oh,
You always kind of dreaded going in
yeah.
there. you know,
The
you had this.
sound, it's so like it's it's loud and like, oh my god.
And yeah, the first time I think I peed my pants a little. I really do. I think I just squirted a little one out
Yeah.
there because I mean, like you said, the sound and the movements that are so janky and also so brutal,
Yeah.
uncontrollably brutal, just chomping towards you.
Mhm.
Oh my fucking god. But in retrospect, it's like it's not very dangerous,
No.
You need to fuck up really bad to actually get killed by it.
I think it has like a leash of 1 meter.
Yeah,
It can't move.
yeah.
Like you can just jump in a circle.
Oh, but Jesus Christ, that the first time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's scary. I think that like that's one of the because Super Mario was such a game broadly, owned by basically all of those who had a N64.
Mhm.
And I think that that's a very uniform experience where you kind of unwittingly enter that room and try to what is this, try to jump on it and stuff like that.
There are a lot of those cases of unintentionally scary stuff in kids games, or sometimes intentional, like they tried to make it like harmless spooky, but then it turned out to be very
Mhm.
disturbing for children, such
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
like calling back to the Majora's Mask, the music box house or whatever it's called, the one you talked about before.
Yeah. Oh my god, do you remember that one? And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the music
I
box,
completely
and
agree. I
oh, that's fucking,
fucking died the first time.
oh, that's so fucking scary.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere up there also is
Yeah.
so
Yeah. It's so.
monstrously creepy,
Mhm.
with the Redeads kind of patrolling around. Oh my fucking god.
Mhm.
And you just know that there's something off.
Like that entire area is fucking like it is late game, right? And
Yeah.
like there's ghosts everywhere. You know the one with the
Yeah.
hoods and
The
stuff.
assassins. Yeah.
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 And it's the Redeads, and you also have the crypts up on the hill where you have to go into. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
you
that's
remember.
right. Yeah, I remember. I
Yeah.
remember.
Oh my god.
Such a good time.
No,
Oh my
that's a
god.
good
Now,
one.
now I want to play. Yeah, now I want to play Majora's Mask again.
I played
Oh my god.
the 3D on 3D
Yeah.
remaster on the 3DS a couple of
Oh,
years ago.
me too.
It's really good.
It's really good. Yeah.
It's
I mean, when you replay that game, it's you realize how good it is and how it makes you
just have
feel.
Was
a hot take. If you, I'm not sure if you agree, but the Sora mask swimming, it's
Hmm.
so bad in the remake.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. I completely agree. And I
In
also think
the
that the moon is less scary in the
yeah,
remake.
like
Um,
in short, in the old one, when you swim at a high speed, and when you press the magic button, you get a shield. In the new one, they kind of made it easier because it was pretty hard to control. So you kind of swim at a slower speed, and you have to use magic to speed up. And it pissed
yeah.
me off a lot.
Yeah, I used to kind of just swim around and have fun with the
Hmm.
speed. I love that. So I thought that was it was an unnecessary dumbing down of the gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but especially for
And
you two hardcore OG players of the game that actually had to learn and master the old way of doing it. And
Yeah.
then just like, is
yeah,
this what I get for spending all those hours mastering that shit?
yeah.
The-
But I guess it's still I mean I'm okay with it because replaying the game is for me just to kind of get that nostalgia fill and feel how get the reminiscence from back in the day, just feel how the areas make you feel, the music,
Mm.
the
Mm.
sound effects, like you said, when in the Econo Valley, when you just hear the good old music effect, and yeah, the design of the environment just takes you back to when you were a
Hmm.
kid.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's almost like a drug
Yeah.
to
It is.
re-experience that. It's almost a little bit scary.
Well,
Oh yeah.
I was gonna talk about one thing, but then I also remembered another pretty bonkers story that absolutely scared the fuck out of me and another friend. that I can also mention if we have time for it.
Sure.
Because as N knows, at my dad's place, my room there has this. It's kind of like an open doorway into like a storage room, and that place used to have this really old, nasty curtain down from it.
I remember.
Yeah.
You remember it? Oh my god.
And like the thing is, back there, and during that time, I used that room as a living room, and it was like this old room that was never in use almost before that, and I had the sofa set up so that the back of the sofa was towards that open area with that curtain thing, and so I actually sat with my back to it, which was really scary for me because I used to be. We had an attic that was just the same as the one in The Grudge and all these things. I used to, if my mind started to wander, I would get really freaked out by being alone up there. So I usually would sit like just next to the door, so that my back wouldn't be to the doorway. Kind of, it was just next to me. And I remember I was playing Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl, with another friend of mine, my good old neighbor, and and we were just playing it. And the thing is with that game, I don't know if have you guys played it?
No.
Just seen some gameplay. Never played it myself.
Right. So it's kind of like this a little bit Fallout-y, like Fallout 3-ish, just not as open world, but it's also kind of like a survival sandbox to some extent, where it's set in like a mutated version of the Chernobyl area, where like there was a second blast that mutated everything within a radius, but it also created like valuable artifacts. So a lot of mercenaries and factions have come in to try and scavenge and profit. And that game is like very janky. It has a lot of issues, but it's also very moody and very kind of like unpolished gem, I would say. And the true sequel is coming out soon, so I'm really excited for that. But besides the point, so this game is not very scary during daytime because you mainly just walk around and fight bandits or like opposing mercenaries and stuff like that. But then nighttime comes, and there are mutants in this to varying degrees, and some of them have like Esper powers and then there's this special kind of mutant which turn invisible. And I remember this was at nighttime, of course, and we were sitting with our backs to that nasty ass doorway and all that. And we were maybe like I was maybe 14 and he was I guess 12. And so we were sitting there with the sound cranked up because we were supposed to be like tough boys. We were supposed to tough through it. And we didn't really expect much. And I was just showing the game to him. And then we walk through this. We come into this like kind of like abandoned like small village or like collection of like houses and maybe like a farm and stuff. And were just like scavenging through looking for supplies. And it was dark.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, suddenly we heard in a neighbor building, we heard like things rustle and tussle, like because this game also had a physics engine. So you when the monsters like moved around, you heard them like bump into chairs and cans and stuff like that, right? So we were like, oh fuck,
Right.
what's that? So we just went out and looked for it, and we tried to follow it into the into the houses. And then suddenly I just take damage and there's this howling sound and I turn and there's nothing there. It's just because it's invisible. And then it's like, boof, it just appears right in my face. And I jump so much that I tear down that fucking curtain and it lands on me. I just have full on fucking panic. And of course, my friend too. It's just like it's sensory overload, right? So for him as well, it's just the same. He's just sitting there and he's just taking it all in. He sees the thing on the screen, the thing falls down, and I'm panicking more, and he's panicking more. And fuck me, man, that was a very emotionally draining experience.
Sounds like it. Sounds like you didn't have dry pants afterwards.
No, I did not.
But I think that's kind of the most powerful jump scare when you play a game with a little bit of tension like that and something unexpected does happen. When you fear for the life of the character you play, you're like, oh, I don't want to die now. I don't want to die. And then you encounter that fucking enemy.
Yeah,
Oh,
especially because it
yeah.
was such a unexpected spook fest. And so, like playing that game, I actually really recommend it, especially Shadow of Chernobyl, the first one. They have this other enemy as well that sometimes would give me jump scares, just not as much, but it has this. It's like an Esper mutant kind of thing. So that what it does is like it suddenly, if you come into its vision, it will attack you from afar. But what it does is like if your camera will super zoom in on its face, and then
Oh.
it just kind of, and then it pushes out like a shockwave, and it will continuously do that. But like the first time he does it, when if you don't know he's there, you're just like walking around in this like dark fucking industrial complex underground, and you're just like really on edge, and then suddenly you're just like, oh, here's my face, you know.
Oh.
That can be pretty jumpy too. It's a great game in a lot of ways.
Yeah, looking forward to kind of maybe trying the sequel out, or the new one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Didn't we
a huh.
didn't we cover that? It was like on one of the game lineups, right? For the new consoles.
I think
Stalker
so.
2? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And like that's I'm pretty hyped for that game, to be honest. And I see that for those of you out there who haven't tried Stalker, it currently I'm gonna sell you a little bit. So currently it costs let's say $4 on Steam, and it has overwhelmingly positive reviews. So
Mm-mm.
go for it.
Maybe I'll buy it.
I mean, I think you'll love it.
But
So yeah.
what kind of jank are we talking here?
Well, there are some broken quests, or like things can break, so you have to reload saves, and there are some sometimes the hit scan doesn't register properly, and there's some like technical. There's a lot of
Yeah.
bugs, but you can patch it. There's a lot of community patches that fixes most of it. And I think they're pretty easy to download as well. So I recommend checking out those as well. Even
And
though,
it's like 70% off right now. That's really good. It
yeah,
looks all right for 2007.
yeah. I remember I was really excited because I just had a new video card installed, and I could play this on full graphics back then, and I was like, "Whoa, like DirectX 10," you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that feeling.
Yeah. So it holds up pretty well in the looks department, and especially
But
the mood department as well.
you know what's fascinating? That kind of jank, that was actually quite normal back in the day. You could have like a super graphically, advanced game, but still you had like the really kinky, janky gameplay at
Yeah.
times, which
Mhm.
was like a weird thing, for that era. I don't think that's except you. If you buy like an indie game, maybe you'll get that, but with a big developer, that's like not acceptable anymore.
Well, I think Ubisoft begs to differ.
Yeah, okay, Ubisoft, of course,
Oh,
they
and Bethesda.
do their own thing. Yeah, and but Bethesda is like that. The ambition is just overgrowing the capacity.
Mhm.
Can you just imagine like the developers of Stalker just saying like when they're like, yeah, but there's a lot of bugs in this game. It's like, yeah, it just works.
Yeah, that's just what we go for. That's the feel. Just a little bit of that jank, but I mean, Dark Messiah was like that too.
True.
It was so ambitious with all the systems. There was some good old jank in that one, but it was still a good
Crashes too.
game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I still replay that game like every once in a while, still to this day, just for the combat.
and there's so many creative ways to kind of utilize the systems.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that game.
Also, when
Imagine,
we're huh?
yeah, just go on.
No, I was just gonna when we're talking about this era of games, like when we played during middle school and stuff. Like I don't know. And do you remember 13, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Have you seen the the remake that's coming out in November, like this month?
I have.
What do you think of it? How do you think it looks so far?
To be honest, it looks kind of disappointing, but I'm
You
not
think?
sure. I'm not quite sure what I'm expecting.
Yeah, I
'Cause
agree.
the gunplay seems kind of not what I'd expect from a title coming out like now. You know?
Yeah, it kind of looks like it's literally the gameplay from the 2003 game, just with updated graphics.
Yeah.
Which could be fun though for us who's like fans of the original. But that aside, do you remember that multiplayer mode called the Hunt in
Yeah,
that game?
I think so.
Because that's a jump scare fest too. Because like for that game, it's like it was one of the first like really cell shaded cartoony games, if I'm not
Mm,
mistaken. It was at least the first
yeah.
shooter game that really went for that comic book with the comic book panels whenever you headshotted someone, or like with like very heavy on the that kind of aesthetic. And um pretty underrated game in my opinion. But then for the Hunt, which was on in multiplayer, is essentially you just like your players who compete to hunt for this little Grim Reaper that sings in like a higher pitched version of like a stupid song that comes in the game sometimes, and it just runs randomly around the map at breakneck speeds, and if it touches you, you instantaneously die, and it's like and then it runs off.
Oh my god.
We had so
What
much.
kind of lucid dream did they have to come up with that one?
I don't know, because it was so unexpected too. Because you have the run of the mill like deathmatch and stuff. You're like, yeah, let's just play a little bit of multiplayer. Like the Hunt, what's that? And then you have like a double barrel shotgun. You have a revolver, I think, and then some throwing knives maybe or something. And they're like, all right. And then you just hear that singing in the distance, and then you see like those that tap 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 when it's close, like you see it through the walls. But then I
Yeah.
just remember sometimes I would completely be jump scared because when I was about to round the corner, he rounds the corner and insta kill me. It's like and runs off.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I hope they bring back that mode in the new game. I really want to see how that is there.
That's why you're so hyped for it. You just want to see that.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean that era had I think it was just something about the cell shaded technology or something that had matured, enough, because there were some cell shaded titles that came out around that time.
Yeah.
I remember of course, Wind Waker,
Oh yeah.
but also I remember Cell Damage. Did I ever show you that game? Cell Damage,
I don't think
the
so.
vehicle combat game.
Oh, yeah, I think you
Do you
mentioned
remember
it.
that? I think we play it at my place just one of the times that you were over. I think I might have done that, but
Could be.
yeah, it was a vehicle combat game, very goofy, but actually really really good, and it was very under the radar. I think almost no one I knew had even heard of it. So, but it was also fully cell shaded. I think that just was something about the technology, and it just matched the cell shade kind of style. So
Yeah. I mean, I guess they could get away with lower detail and stuff with cell
yeah,
shading, and they will still look good.
I think it was a little easier to with the polygons and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, because when you look at Wind Waker, that game came out like what, 2003, 4,
Yeah.
and that game still
Let's
looks
see.
pretty good today because it's
Yeah,
cell shaded.
yeah. Cell shading does,
Hmm.
make it a little bit timeless.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and yeah, and HD. Do you have the HD remake of Wind Waker? Man?
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you do have.
that looks
How was that game?
amazing.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that that is like the epitome of the cell shaded cartoony graphics. But what do you think about the game? Is it worth
It's
it? Was it worth
yeah,
it?
and it has a couple of quality of life changes.
Yeah, but don't you think it's a little bit lazy of Nintendo to just remake all the Zelda games and not? I feel that they could have added a little bit more,
Yeah,
especially to Wind Waker.
maybe
I mean, they had the sale,
save, and they I
right?
think they reduced the price on buying all the Triforce charts or deciphering
Yeah,
them.
to make that a little bit less tedious.
Hmm.
The Triforce Quest, but I mean, there's so much potential in remaking a game like that. I feel that it's when you build the engine, you can always add stuff at the end game, that won't kind of clutter up the original authentic feel, or maybe even just have a hero mode where the extra content is,
I think
so you have the.
By the way, they ported Self-Damage to Switch.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
They did. Self-Damage. Oh my god, Self-Damage.
Oh shit.
Maybe we should have like a meet up and play Self-Damage, because that's really funny.
Yeah.
How much is it for Switch? Let me see.
No idea.
Let me see.
Self-Damage HD. Here we go. What the fuck?
Switch eShop. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this beautiful art style.
I love the
it's very
comically
goofy.
giant hammer you can just whack the other cars with.
Yeah.
The one on the
It's very
hovercraft
goofy.
just slaps the other cars with the front of the hovercraft.
Yeah, every car does have like a special weapon that's unique to the car, and it's very cartoony. The weapons kind of come out of a trunk, I guess, and you have an axe, and there are like mechanical arms that come out of the trunk that's holding the axe, swinging it, and they're boxing gloves and chainsaws, and you have like a chopper one where you fly around with the dual Gatling guns. So
it's
it's quite.
It kind of looks like the more goofy, funny, family-friendly version of Carmageddon.
Yeah, I think that it's like and it's a lot of humor. The characters talk. I thought it was very brave and kind of hard to nail it down with the humor, because all of these characters are just unknowns. They just made them up to for the game. There's no universe to draw from. And I think that's very hard to do, to make compelling characters, but actually they kind of managed, for me at least, to have interesting and a diverse cast with a lot of humor in it. You have like the devil, and you have the nerd. That's one, the hovercraft. He's like Fleming, I think he's called. And you have like this Sado or very S&M type lady, and also this very military lady, which was one of my favorite characters. She had a very powerful special weapon, which was the grenade launcher, kind of artillery, like just spewing out artillery, and if you hit someone in the distance, they would die instantly, almost. So it was very OP if you but it was very hard to aim at a distance. You just basically just fired it and hoped it would hit something.
I see that there's also a noir black and white duck.
Yeah, that's Foul Mouth.
Oh yeah,
he speaks a very kind of mafia-esque tone. He's like, yeah, and he's a bank robber. Yeah. Foul Mouth. Yeah.
I think I found my favorite character already.
Yeah, there are a lot of good characters in this game, and the maps are funny also, with a lot of special effects or kind of quirky ways to kill other people with the map doodads. So it's a funny game. Maybe we should invest in that. And
we could have a couple of beers and then play this game.
What about the Switch Pro? Did you hear about that? I think there was some rumor that there's going to be another Switch model.
I don't know. I just saw the mention of it. I didn't really see what the thing was, like what they were thinking. What do you think, N?
I am sure. I mean, it's good if they make a better Switch.
Yeah. What games do you feel need? Obviously, Breath of the Wild, maybe, but are there any other games that are a little bit too underpowered from the hardware?
I mean, I'm speaking like predominantly from a docked viewpoint, right? I almost don't play handheld.
No.
Like, there's a couple of scenes or places in Breath of the Wild which will reduce your your FPS,
Yeah.
especially with a lot of sun shafts and stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
But other than
But
that,
is
I don't
it?
know, Steph, you've been playing Xenoblade 2, right? Is there any like FPS drops there? Because I don't
Uh,
remember. It
yeah,
is kind of grand, right? Like huge areas and.
it is. I was a little bit worried about that because I had I have the Switch Lite, so I only play it handheld. But to be honest, what happens instead is that they have like this dynamic resolution. So I did experience sometimes that suddenly it looks like the game was made in Microsoft Paint.
Yeah. Downscales
Yeah,
dramatically.
but for me it hasn't really reduced the experience any. I thought,
No.
but because the FPS stayed relatively similar, and since it's not a very like twitch and like reaction heavy game, I didn't really mind it. But
No.
No.
in Pokemon though, Sword and Shield, there were especially some areas in like the wild area where the FPS dropped, and where
Mm.
I because like you can ride your bicycle there, and then there will be a lot of Pokemon just spawning in the overworld and walking around.
Mm.
And there were a couple of times in the beginning when I had like level 20 Pokemon, and like if I was biking through the grand area to take a shortcut, and I remember there was like this FPS drop, and it made me crash right into a level 60 Gengar, which smited me because I couldn't run
Mm,
away from it. But that was more like, it was more like funny, honestly.
yeah.
Okay, but I don't think that happened to me. It's on like in the battles when there's a lot of effects, it usually drops some frames. But I mean it has some implications on the gameplay. Uh,
Yeah,
but I don't know about the other games. Maybe Skyrim. I don't know if that still is taxing on a Switch.
No.
it's a
No
good
idea.
question.
No, I don't know either. But I think, yeah. But what do you think about the idea of having like a more powerful console? Uh,
I mean,
yeah.
if it opens up the window for like more third-party people to want to put their game on the Switch, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that it'll have unique games on it? Or unique modes,
I
maybe?
maybe third parties. I don't know, but I think Nintendo
Mhm.
is very very
Yeah.
adamant about like accessibility for everyone.
True.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that it'll probably be a minor upgrade,
Hmm.
Yeah.
like hardware wise, that it'll just be to ensure that there's no slowdown or jank in future titles
Hmm.
I'm pretty
that are
curious
ambitious.
to see what they're gonna do with their next generation though, like the proper next gen. Like, are they gonna?
The next Switch,
Yeah,
Switch 2. Yeah.
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
Yeah, that they're gonna follow I think they're gonna follow it up with a like semi handheld like this one.
yeah, the 3DS I think is out of production now.
yeah.
Yeah.
It ended production
So,
just a little while ago.
it would be weird for them to try to take back the handheld market with a dedicated handheld model, I think so.
Hmm.
And the way technology is evolving right now with more power in a more compact format, that it's just natural to continue on with
I
that
mean,
kind of style,
I
the
think it
Yeah.
is. It is for both of the markets because like the two most, I would say, the most successful handheld titles of Nintendo is Pokemon and Fire Emblem, right? And both of them have just had major titles on the Switch.
Right.
I think this is just their go-to now. It's gonna be both.
Mm. And I think that it's a little bit positive also, because um, I don't know, it's both positive and negative, because we could get all of the major franchises from Nintendo on one system,
Hmm.
rather than having to own like two or three separate systems just to be able to experience
Yeah.
the set handheld Zeldas and the mainline iterations. But
Hmm.
maybe we'll get fewer games also with this. What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe.
Good question.
Because I can't, we got the Link's Awakening remake, but I mean, looking forward, do you think they'll make just like proper 2.5D Zeldas for the Switch and the next upcoming console?
I don't know.
I feel like maybe they.
I honestly maybe if like they have a team like we really want to do like top down Zelda. We have this great
Yeah,
idea. I mean, that could
because
probably
that's a
happen.
little bit. That is an interesting question to ask, because I
Hmm.
think that a lot of people actually do love the handheld type of Zelda.
Yeah.
So
But I'm also wondering like what the next one is gonna be, if so, because now they've started to remake. I guess they've remade most of the most successful and the oldest of the 2D ones. Like they did
mm,
Link's Awakening, they did Link to the Past. I guess the Oracle games are the ones that they haven't done
Oracles.
yet.
Yeah, that's the last one. Did you play those games?
I played Seasons, but I didn't play
Mm,
Ages. I like that game
I
though.
I played
I
both.
played both as well.
Yeah, me too. I actually love them. The fact that
Yeah.
Capcom did those, they did a fantastic job, even though it's not like you can almost feel that it's not true Nintendo in some
Hmm.
way,
Yeah,
but it's still very good, and they still have that I guess Capcom-y feel.
I mean
So
I don't remember from seasons, but from ages the like the ability to travel back and forth in time.
yeah,
I think that
yeah,
was really cool, and just like I remember when I unlocked it, I would just go around the entire map and just try because I want to
yeah,
see where I end up. Right? That was
yeah.
really
yeah.
cool.
And there were a lot of secrets with that. That it was really a true kind of Zelda game. The only thing, I think, the only complaint was kind of the ending, because it was supposed to have like a secret joint ending. If you had the
Mm.
both games, you could
Yeah.
do some
Little stop and swap
travel in between. Yeah, some
for those
stuff.
who know that one.
But yeah, it was a very cool concept, and I actually love those games. But how if they're gonna do that now, it would be a little bit hard to implement, don't you think? The mechanic, the duality of the two games and stuff. Maybe they'll just mash them together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's probably the thing. Like they put them both on one like one disc, let's say, or
Yeah,
like one iteration, and then you just like play through both, and then once you do, you kind of like can choose to play the ending after you finish both games.
yeah. I really loved Ages. I remember that's the one that I got, and I borrowed Seasons from a friend afterwards
Yeah,
and played that one. And I think that I preferred Ages over Seasons, but I also did the inner interconnective content, and it was a little bit underwhelming. I remember you could do some kind of ring appraisal.
yeah,
Some rings you could only get on one game and stuff like that. You could kind of send the rings or something. I can't remember how it worked, but and then there was the final boss, which it was a Ganon type boss. When you
Hmm.
yeah, did it all. But yeah, uh, interesting if they're gonna rate. Yeah, and after that, there's no more. I think that yeah, you can do the old NES games.
No, honestly, if they're gonna remake something, I would want the Phantom Hourglass and the Minish Cap, maybe, and
yeah.
Yeah,
Spirit Tracks
Minish Cap.
and
Yeah,
Spirit
but,
Tracks as well.
but did you? I played Spirit Tracks. I didn't really love those games.
I have never played anyone like past like the starting point. I just tried them. I remember.
Yeah,
But
but
Minish
I
Cap,
just don't like the control scheme on those.
No.
yeah, but Minish Cap, in my opinion, was pretty good because that one was, if I'm not mistaken, it was still the GBA. So it
Hmm.
was the
It
Wind
was.
Waker style, but it was normal control schemes. I like Minish Cap a lot, and it's also
Yeah.
considered one of the prettiest GBA games ever made.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was a really nice sprite work on that one, and yeah, for sure that was a really great game. But Spirit Tracks, I'm not sure. I think that that's not that's
I
not the best selling game.
I think that the thing with Spirit Tracks and to some extent the Phantom Hourglass, that it is one of them has the train stuff, right?
Mhm.
And the other one
It's a
has
train.
the boat stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, there's like a very heavy use of the stylus from the DS. You have to draw
Yeah,
where Link moves and stuff, I think.
Yeah, and I just
Yeah,
hate that.
that's kind of it's
That
pretty
kills it for me.
Nintendo, but it's also kind of bad.
But then
Yeah,
again,
it's
if they
very
remade
Nintendo.
it, probably they would make it with so that you could control it normally.
Yeah, or they
Maybe.
just try to
Yeah,
implement touchscreen.
I
the
hope
thing is
not.
with
Oh,
the thing is that the gameplay is kind of designed around that,
Mm-hmm.
so you might break the game if you had a normal control scheme. Then you had to
Yeah.
redesign at least some portions of the game.
yeah,
So
but
that's it
so-
could be done. I'm not saying it can't be done, but Nintendo wouldn't do that. They insist on using the gimmick
This
of the era.
this kind of it sucks because I've been playing the Galaxy now on the Switch
yeah,
Yeah,
from the 3D All Stars. And that game has you would have the sensor bar on top of your TV, right? And use
yeah.
the
yeah,
Wiimote to aim the whatever you pick up star bits or something, right?
yeah.
So on the Switch you have to use the touchscreen and move around. So every time you have to pick
Um,
up stuff or like aim, you have to let go of like your right hand and
yeah.
kind of swoosh your finger around. It's so like what's it called?
That's
Kind of pace
tedious.
breaking.
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean, it's a good point because remaking old Nintendo games like in the future that were of the Wii era and of the 3DS era,
Hmm.
you kind of need those interfaces to be able to remake those games.
Hmm.
And Nintendo does like to do the remasters and remakes, so that'll actually be a little bit of a problem
Hmm.
for them.
well, at least Minish Cap, get on it. Get
Yeah,
on
Minish
it.
Cap
Yeah.
is a good one. Minish Cap is a good one. And then they'll maybe do like the one that they planned with A Link Between Worlds. That was initially like talks of just redoing A Link's Awakening. No, not Link's Awakening, but
Link to the Past.
A Link to the Past. Just kind of doing the game, like reworking it from ground up.
Mm.
Uh, Not doing a remaster, but doing a quite a different experience of the same game.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm really excited for the Legend of the Emperor Minish Heresy.
Oh yeah, I want the K DLC for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, the Army of
Oracle
Burger
of
Bots.
Cages.
Oh, oh, the Legend of the Wog of Warbus K. You don't want to play that game.
No, because he's the only one that can use the rocket launcher, and no one else can use it.
Yeah. Oh.
And if you try to pick up the rocket launcher, the game just turns off.
Yeah, that'll be a very unfair title, I think. Oh. You will start out as like a regular human infant, and there will be like a trillion orcs awaiting you, and then that's basically the game. Just try to survive.
Do you get infinite retries?
Yeah, but there's like a mechanic with a shaker that can kind of randomize your tries, so you
And
can get some boosts.
like
Yeah,
that's
and
for the first time only. But here's the thing: if you want, let's say the shaker can give you a random amount of retries, but you can only shake it once. And here's the other thing: it also has a chance to blow up your game. But here's the other thing: is that you get retry tickets per every meal at McDonald's.
yeah. So you have to kind of carefully plan and work up tickets before you have an attempt.
Yeah, you just buy a shit ton of Happy Meals, and then you get like 3 replay tickets.
Oh my god, yeah. What is the reward if you actually you're able to do it? What happens if
You
you're
you
able
get
to do
like
it?
a free 15 piece of McNuggets.
No, it's like the world turns off.
Oh yeah. You just the only the only player to ever get it. He just like makes the world cease to exist.
It's like when you turn off an old TV when it goes to that little point. that's what that happens to the universe basically. It just
But if you get the secret ending, you get access to the world computer for 3 seconds.
but that's enough time, to do whatever the world computer. So yeah, but you wouldn't be able to use it though, because it's like every key is like a skyscraper.
Yeah.
You can program on it.
But imagine if you have it all planned out and you just you have 3 seconds to just take down the world console and type in God and enter.
Okay, guys, we're rambling. We have to close it off.
Yeah.
Remember to stay humid.
Stay dank.